Greetings, welcome back to Silent Hill 3 Fun Time with me, Solidus-Skully. I completely screwed up the intro, but whatever, let's keep going. By the way, if you examine the front door of that train car, you will find out that there is no front car, so my Matrix Path of Neo comparison made last time was actually pretty apt. Anyway, we leave the subway station, which for some bizarre reason connects to our next area in the game, the sewers. Because those are always fun in video games, right? Well, depends. Some sewer levels are pretty cool. One such example actually is from the Futurama video game. That was pretty fun. But in any case, the sewer area in Silent Hill 3, I think, honestly demonstrates a certain... It demonstrates a certain quality that I feel the rest of the game lacked, and it's something that I think I actually brought up last time during the subway sequence, is that in Silent Hill 3's attempts to be a little bit more linear, it does lose out on some of its more atmospheric qualities, so to speak. I should probably turn that down. But, yeah, and again, like, I mean, I don't want to be the sort of person that says, oh, linearity in video games is the worst game ever, 0 out of 10, we need wide open space, because wide open space is good, because the running, or anything of the sort, but, I don't know. Silent Hill 3, I think, does lose out on some of those atmospheric qualities, although it could be argued that this was an intentional design decision based upon, you know, certain plot elements of the game about how Heather feels like everything is centering around her, so it would make sense that the game would be a lot more linear. And again, you know, in most Silent Hill games, everything to some degree is linear, like, you know, usually in the town you'll be blocked off by certain chasms and holes in the ground and everything, and, you know, therefore preventing Harry or James from going anywhere, but I don't know, it feels a little bit more constrictive in Silent Hill 3, comparatively to any other game in the series I've found. Well, except for maybe Origins, I think, although I haven't played that game in a while, so, you know, fun times for all. Yeah, here's the area which I think is probably the most infested with the non-bodies, and you can see the size that they get to, which is quite symbolic in and of itself if you remember the fact that I mentioned last time that when they're knocked down, they make a cry that's similar to that of a baby. Baby who wants a baby, and Heather, like all teenagers, decides to steal some alcohol. Having your first drink brings a tear to my eye. Anyway, another short part this time actually, so yeah, apologize for that. There's also not a lot of story content, so for those of you interested in Heather's sassy remarks, you're not really going to be getting them here. It's mostly just quiet, basically. It's sort of a filler part, but again, I'm recording this en masse today, and hopefully now that my computer isn't lagging that much anymore, I should be able to get more parts recorded. Yippee-ki-yay. Anyway, I also have more than a few juicy tangents to talk about this time as well, so without further ado, let's begin. Coming up next, well, coming up soon actually, we haven't actually gotten to the area yet, although some interesting trivia for this hallway. This is actually a direct reference to Session 9 actually, right beneath the Danvers Sanatorium where Jeff was running from his life because the lights were cutting out and he was nyctophobic. Well, okay, there is an event in Silent Hill 3 that is actually a direct reference to that, but I think that corridor in particular was a direct reference to, you know, the underground passage of the sanatorium, which is a very nice reference, actually, you know, or at the very least design-wise. I mean, Silent Hill 3, or the series in general actually, does that on more than a few occasions, but I feel that with Silent Hill 3 especially, and the way in which it pays homage to Session 9 in just visual cameos, I don't know, I think it's nice. Sorry for being distracted a little bit, my cat's right outside my window, and she is a very needy bitch. But anyway, it is time for some juicy tangents. And that's also to do with an interesting bit of trivia, actually, on New Game Plus mode. In New Game Plus mode, a lot of the hallways and tunnels you'll see, again, they appear completely normal, but on New Game Plus mode, and if you play on the hard difficulties, they will become corrupted with blood and rust, and actually, I think I might have a video on my channel that actually demonstrates this. Well, with admittedly shoddy quality, mind you, but yeah, the hallways get all bloodied, and on hard mode that actually begins to drain your health, and then Heather will eventually die. You might wonder why this is, but that's actually a neat little callback to a certain event that we are going to be getting to sometime in the future. Maybe, I think. Who knows? That's something for you to figure out, although I'm pretty sure most Silent Hill 3 aficionados probably know what I'm talking about. Let's just say it's a real reflection of scariness. But in any case, to relate more to what's going on in the game, we're basically getting a bottle of wine, filling it up with kerosene, and using it to power some diesel-powered electronics, really. because that's how Silent Hill works. Walk over here to this giant machinery that we have absolutely no idea how it operates. But in order to progress with the storyline, we have to interact with stuff that would otherwise get us in serious trouble, because I'm pretty sure Heather doesn't have any degrees in mechanical engineering. In fact, considering the fact that she's like 17 years old right now, unless of course she took a trade school, I don't think she'd really know how to operate it. But then again, who knows? Cutscene of things happening. Yeah, I'm gonna talk over this. There really isn't anything happening outside of the fact that a winch is being operational and stuff. Time for another juicy tangent. Something that we actually won't be seeing in this is also the sewer ferry. And for those of you wondering how utterly bizarre this is, let me explain. Excuse me, Pepsi. Anyway, what happens is if you drop your... well, there's a certain event in-game that comes up a bit later on. If you end up dropping your steel pipe into the sewer water, basically you will encounter a sewer fairy who will offer you a gold or silver pipe. And again, I can't quite remember the specifics because it's been fucking years since I've done this, but again, I believe if you choose to take either one, they have certain attributes. I forgot what the attributes were, but I do believe if you end up taking the original steel pipe back, the sewer fairy will call you a truly honest man, which is utterly bizarre because Heather is a woman, and, well, it's just bizarre. I believe the HD collection actually changed that to say you're a truly honest person, which, it makes sense, but it's like, what? I don't know, Silent Hill is a weird series, man. Like, I mean, for as spooky and psychological as it is, it always has these wacky moments where you'll come across aliens, or sewer fairies, or bloody... Happy Burger. I don't know, it makes it a very fun series, actually. It's honestly still why I recommend Silent Hill to people even to this day. Like, I mean, for as much as you might say that games like Silent Hill 1, 2 and 3 have aged, well, I'd say less so Silent Hill 2 and 3 really, but Silent Hill 1 especially. They're still good, man. They're fantastic, and that's why I want to showcase these games, even if, you know, my Silent Hill 1 commentary is pretty sucky. Well, I really thought I'd have more to say for this part, but it's very cut and dry. Although you do get an interesting cutscene coming up pretty soon, so look forward to that. But again, as I said earlier, it really does demonstrate, I guess Silent Hill 3's straightforwardness. Like, I mean, this area in and of itself, the hallways are very confusing, but again, if you look at the map, it's very straightforward and easy to navigate, which... It's one of the few times in this game which I think it really demonstrates that feeling of being lost, despite the fact that, you know, you have a clear pathway of where to go. Like, I mean, usually in most Silent Hill games, you'll have a clear and concise idea of where to go, but you'll need to be checking your map every 5 seconds because everywhere looks the same, which is a perfect bit of design and something that I feel like a lot of horror games, they either miss the mark, on the odd occasion get it right, and then sometimes just have it be a narrow hallway, so to speak. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because, you know, I think linearity in video games is actually very important. It gives you a clear and concise idea of where to go, rather than just having a wide open space, you know, for people to wander around with absolutely nothing to do. And it's pretty much just there for people to go, well, look at this wide open space that was achievable back in fucking 2001. Like, it's super special or something. But that's a game thing ramble for another time. In terms of horror though, there isn't really... Well, I mean, I guess outside of a few scares by the numb bodies, there isn't really that much going on. But again, I suppose that also leads to Silent Hill 3's other issues, I suppose, in the sense that while it does have a lot of confronting horror, I think it's mostly through individual moments rather than as an experience as a whole, akin to, you know, Silent Hill 1, where each and every area in the game felt very atmospheric and very alienating, which, again, was key to Kiichiro Toyama's direction for the series at that point. You know, and Silent Hill 2, obviously the more emotional of the games, had a much more atmospheric journey in terms of emotions and how the characters felt and how that was reflected in the environments in the other world. I don't know, it's a very interesting dynamic, and Silent Hill 3 kind of mixes and matches the two. I don't think it entirely works that well, but here's a cutscene. Okie dokie, who's up for some interesting Silent Hill trivia? A lot of people refer to that enemy right down there as the sewer monster, and if you walk across this bridge without dropping the hairdryer into it, that can actually kill you. And believe it or not, I don't know why nobody's ever picked this up, but you don't want to know what that sewer monster is? That's the Bloodsucker from Silent Hill 1, aka that enemy in the fridge that drags Harry into the fridge and kills him, or that thing that's after the little blood packet on the floor. Yeah, really surprising to see, like, a direct enemy from Silent Hill 1 make a reappearance again. One other thing I should also mention is that if you can actually get a note related to that, about how it killed a couple of sewer maintenance workers who they believe were drunk, but a guy actually saw the monster, which, again, it's a nice little bit of horror, and I kind of apologize for not showing that off, actually. But yeah, really good to see a Silent Hill 1 enemy, actually. Kind of surprising that nobody else really picks that up, they just call it the sewer monster, but it's a bloodsucker, man. I mean, especially considering the fact that we saw, you know, the reincarnation of the split worm earlier, it's a nice homage to Silent Hill 1. It makes me feel like I'm home, in my hellish, disgusting home. But anyway, we're getting out of these dang sewers and we're going off to greener pastures, hopefully. Anyway, on that note, I'm Solidus-Skully, keep new metal. I've got a few seconds left, so I kind of regret doing that. Bugger it. See you later. Enjoy Heather's ladder climb up Jacob's ladder.